Hey class, this is the Digital Communication and Bullying by Ali Biederman, Ashley Baum, Brandy Hahn, Sean Lawrence, and Courtney Simpson. All right, first slide is the positive uses of digital communication in the classroom. This is digital communication is defined as the electronic exchange of information, and the examples given are, let's say, texting, social media, smartphones, blogs, Skype, wiki, anything, email, instant messaging, all of that good stuff that's going around today. If information has been exchanged over anything digital, then it qualifies under digital communication. In this day and age, it seems like digital communication is how we primarily communicate with the people around us. The positives are we can support activities in the classroom, so we can do more activities, maybe spark more of our students' interest, because our students are going to be using technology since they grew up. And another positive is it encourages students to share ideas, which may not seem exactly like a positive, because if you're using social media or other resources in the classroom, you might think that students are hiding behind a screen. But in reality, there's awesome inventions such as what's that class one? I forgot, but just like Remind Text or other class texting system, chat system, Kahoot is another good one that increases communication. And blogs are an awesome way for teachers to communicate with students and parents outside classrooms. And again, just so many different games and quiz websites and fun activities going on. All right, so the negative uses of digital communication. There are definitely negatives, and especially it's kind of up to the user, so the teachers, to make sure that these negatives don't happen. One big thing is that everything you say or put on the internet gets saved. So students and teachers need to be careful with what they email, with what they say on any social platform, on their blogs, to their parents, online, on websites, any of that. If not used correctly, students could take advantage of the situation, and it could create more of a problem than a solution. So you give students time to work on their laptops or their phones, and they might end up doing Snapchat or Instagram. Guilty. Teachers might end up using technology as a substitute for teaching instead of an addition to the learning environment. So you might have teachers just say, okay, kids, get on your whatever and look up stuff, and the teacher just chills in the chair. And then students and teachers need to be careful with what they say in emails, like I reviewed earlier. And we must still encourage students to discuss face-to-face, but not shy away from using digital communication in the classroom. And this is our scenario. So Ms. Smith wants to better communicate with her students outside of school so that she can send reminders and updates of class information. She ends up getting each student's numbers so she can make a group chat and send text messages for a class reminder, which would be the inappropriate use of digital communication, because getting your students' numbers is weird and not cool. The appropriate way would be for Mrs. Smith to use Remind 101, create an account with students, and get the information out there to their students. It's not recording?
It is recording. Press pause.
Oh.
The Arizona Law of Bullying Prevention in Schools states that school districts are required to prohibit bullying on school grounds and within school properties, which includes off-campus and school buses. School policies against bullying should be such that there is zero tolerance. Consequences should begin with parent meetings, interventions, and include necessary detentions and suspensions to stop the negative behavior. One bullying scenario is a fifth grader is constantly telling a fourth grade student that they're fat and stupid. So the fourth grader is so upset by these comments that he begins to hide in the bathroom during lunch and recess. The fourth grader refuses to eat his meals, and he doesn't like to do his work because he believes he's stupid. As the negative behavior begins, meetings should be held with parents, teachers, and necessary administration to discuss what is going on. In addition, detentions and/or suspensions may be necessary to stop the behavior. A procedure that may also be necessary if bullying is two-parent is assemblies. In these assemblies, administration can discuss the importance of kindness and integrity and bring out the 6 pillars of good characters. Good behavior will also be encouraged, and the procedures for bullying will be laid out.
So, according to this study that I cited here, most bullying actually begins in middle school, even though bullying is a huge problem in elementary school. Most of it takes place in middle school. This quote, "Bullies are by far the coolest kids, and the victims in turn are very uncool." This was a study done in 2012. The idea of this bully coolness it enters around 6th grade. And theoretically, the reason for that is that it's this big culture shock as they're moving on from this culture where it's all one classroom, you stay in one classroom the whole time. Suddenly in 6th grade, you're going on to multiple different classrooms. You have multiple groups of classmates, multiple teachers. And so that huge culture shock, quote, probably calls forth a primal tendency to rely on dominance behaviors. So they resort to this idea of some people are better than others, and the better ones get to repress the worse ones. That whole idea starts culminating. So 29.3% of middle school students say that they've experienced bullying in the classroom. So that's nearly a third. Just who've experienced it. That's not even people who've seen it happen. So this study also went on to talk about how just saying bullying is bad or things like that, that's not really going to make a difference. You have to make an effort to reach the innocent bystanders who are just standing by watching it happen, and influence them to make the choice to intervene and stop the bullying. Usually once and the numbers from this study support this, usually once someone else steps in, it suddenly becomes not worth it for the bully and they back off. Finally, the classroom has to be a safe space to promote learning. So you have to make sure that, especially when they're in your class, you squash any bullying, any talking behind a kid's back, making fun of them, anything like that. So squashing that, confronting them, separating kids who can't get along, things like that, so that the classroom can be a safe space. Because if kids don't feel safe, they're not going to be able to learn as effectively.
So some students may be bullied on the school bus to and from school. School buses show a greater chance of students being bullied rather than other transportation, like getting a ride from your mom or like riding a bicycle or something to school. And then one of the articles that I read from, it said that it is estimated that nearly 1 in 5 students is subjected to school bus bullying, which could lead the child into fear of going to school, knowing they could get bullied. And then bullying off campus can be punished, but it has to be stated in the student conduct or the student handbook. And most schools are able to punish off-campus bullying if it will interfere with the student's learning process. And then a scenario is a student gets on the bus and does not have many friends, so the other students see that other student doesn't have any other friends, and then they start to pick on him or her, and yeah.
When it comes to bullying off campus, the biggest form is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is the same as bullying, except instead of in person, it's done through an electronic device. This kind of bullying can range from different things, whether it's sending someone a mean text message or spreading rumors about them, or posting embarrassing photos of a person or video without their permission, all the way down to catfishing. There's so many different types. Cyberbullying is very different from regular bullying. For one, it's difficult sometimes to trace who the bully is. It can make it even harder to stop. The effects on kids who are cyberbullying can lower their self-esteem. They can want to skip school out of fear. They can turn to substance abuse, and oftentimes a lot of kids have committed suicide. And now in the state of Arizona, cyberbullying is illegal. because it is considered harassment. It could be threats or even intimidation of another person, and that can result in a minimum of 6 months in jail and a $2,500 fine. And depending on the severity of the type of bullying, they can spend up to 2 years in jail and a $150,000 fine. Now, when it comes to cyberbullying for scenarios and procedures, a scenario is a girl logs onto her Facebook and sees that a person who's not her friend has commented on one of her pictures, calling her derogatory names. The girl should first delete the comment and then block that profile, and then she should go in and change her privacy settings to friends only to avoid that. This is important, never to respond to a cyberbully, because a lot of them are seeking entertainment, and by not responding, you're not entertaining them, and there's a very big chance they'll move on. And when it comes to cyberbullying, it's very important to tell an adult or an authority figure, or even contact the website's admins to get this person blocked or removed. So for our assessment, we have 4 questions. The first is cyberbullying illegal and punishable by law in the state of Arizona? The second, does Arizona law state that schools should have or must have procedures against bullying? The third are teachers' blogs seen as appropriate or inappropriate way of communicating to parents and students? And the last question is, are schools able to punish off-campus bullying even if it's off the school grounds? And here are our references.